Alec, how's it going?
Well, I'm fantabulous.
The fabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Well, the saying is birds of feathers, they flock togethers. And
Yes.
birds of prey, um,
Stay away.
birds.
I
Okay, well,
mean, that's what most of the rest of the animals in the animal kingdom are thinking about the birds of prey.
yeah. Um, I don't know where to begin. So Suicide Squad you have not seen, which is where this
No.
Harley Quinn was born.
Hmm.
But I did see Suicide Squad. I hated Suicide Squad. But I mean, I was part of the.
Everyone I've talked to hates it, and I like that's kind of one I haven't watched it
Hmm.
because I'm dreading it. I feel like I should just have a few drinks and just sit down and watch the movie at some point.
Yeah, I think I'm
And
kind of I'm part of the consensus where like one of the few good things was that came from that movie is the Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. So this movie made
I'm not
sense.
overly crazy about Daddy's Little Monster,
You don't
but
like
that's a
that,
whole nother story.
okay?
That's a whole other story. That's a whole other topic we can get to,
Hmm.
but we won't go into that.
But like Harley Quinn was the redeemable quality of that movie. It makes sense they would want to try to take that, put that into its own thing. Birds of Prey. Um,
Well, Margot Robbie is just like terribly talented. Um, I mean, she was in like at the Oscars that happened recently. I mean, she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was in Bombshell, I think, also. Um, so it was like all these like movies that are getting all this huge clout and everything. And then she's in Suicide Squad
hmm.
and the comic films, you know. So it's like it's cool always to see actors and actresses in like that are actually like it's not just a book movie thing. Like they are getting real people with some respectability to be in these type of movies. So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's kind of neat, I guess.
All right, so Alec, just give me your first, like your overall impressions, surface level on Birds of Prey. What are you thinking?
So I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. I don't think the movie is all that incredible. Like it's like a weird blend of Deadpool meets like trying to be Wonder Woman meets Guardians of the Galaxy towards the end anyway. It had like elements of all three of those.
Hmm.
And none of those really mesh very well together. I think Deadpool and Guardians kind of mesh okay. Those parts sort of worked. Um, if you, I enjoyed myself. I think the film was entertaining as a broad, enjoyable, violent, crass, colorful, well shot, well executed action film with a female leading cast. I
Yeah.
think if you try to analyze the film as anything more than that, it falls apart horribly. Um, but I was very entertained. I liked this movie quite a bit, and uh,
Yeah, I
and
would.
I added a popcorn tub for Birds of Prey to my popcorn tub collection.
Oh.
So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say like it's not a movie to appreciate in the same like level as movies like Joker or the MCU, like for like
Mm,
complex characters, things like that,
hmm.
or like any sort of development in that respect. It's more just like a fun action. Yeah, if you just enjoy it for the fun action stuff, it's actually done really well.
Yeah.
There are some things I definitely didn't like about it as much.
Hmm.
Sometimes like the over the top like music video style editing and like big like top 40 hit after top 40 hit, it's like kind of gets annoying at sometimes. And like Jesus, there was there was one song that went on, there was like a whole song sequence that went on
Yeah.
for a while, and I went out to the bathroom and it was still going the same song. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
we're going all out. And then it's like I wasn't sure how I felt about the Harley Quinn narration thing. Like when it first
It
came
was
on, I usually don't
yeah.
like narration from the character narrating and that kind of thing. But
Yeah, I was a little back and forth on that too. There were parts of it that I liked because it was, I mean, it's an avenue to tell jokes, right? But it was just weird. The like non-linearity in like the first half was just bizarre to me. Like it was
Yeah.
like it was kind of like why?
And then
What was the
you
point of doing it that way?
built up so much one part where she's in the the police station, and then she's like, oh, let me go back for like 2 weeks or whatever. And
Yeah,
it
and
was
then we
like
spend
it's
the
like
next like 25 minutes like
catching up
getting
to it.
back there, and it was just like
But I was surprised. Like I was really annoyed when that happened. I'm like, oh, I hate when that happens. But then I was surprised at how quickly I kind of like forgot about it, and I was like, oh, we're back. We went full circle. All right. I kind
yeah.
of liked the segment anyway.
Well, the thing that I appreciate about that was starting to develop Black Canary,
Hmm.
um, and
Who is
she
Bay?
was great. I loved her in this film. I thought she was a great, like, if Harley Quinn obviously is the starring attraction, and she's just completely likable. I
Hmm.
mean, they're doing horrible, despicable things, not as despicable and horrible as the men, uh, but they're no spring, they're no moral uprising people either. Moral uprising, upstanding citizens. They're all broken people as well. But
Yeah.
she
Well.
is
Yeah.
terribly. Harley Quinn is very likable, and the fact that we had other supporting characters that were simultaneously likable was
Hmm.
kind of nice. I like the fact that the cast felt that they meshed together well when they. It
Yeah.
did take a long time for them to finally get all together, but
I like the deadpan of Huntress. I like
oh
her.
yeah, yeah. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think.
Hmm.
She's great. I mean, she was in the Thing remake. She was Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim. I've
Yeah.
liked stuff that she's in. She's a good actress.
My brother and I were talking about it this after we were done watching. We were looking at the Suicide Squad 2 cast list, and we're like, why aren't these women in it? I'm like, oh yeah, they're not supposed to be the bad guys, and that's what Suicide Squad is, like bringing bad guys together. So like, okay, that doesn't work. It's like you kind of forget they're supposed to be like the good guys and something, but then Harley Quinn's there, so I guess she kind of that's why she distanced herself, because like you can't have this
Yeah,
bad guy with them.
right.
But um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. What was I gonna say? Shoot.
Ewan McGregor
Oh,
as Black
yes.
Mask.
He was so extra.
So good. Every second he was
Fuck.
on scene, he was just chewing the scenery, and I loved every second of it. The
Yeah.
guy who played Zaz too, Victor Zaz, he
Mm.
was just dirty and despicable
Yeah.
and awful, and I loved it. Like those are like classic Batman villains, and I think they did such a good job with them. His portrayal of Black Mask was definitely not like a traditional one. Um, because he was almost like he was bratty, he was like very
Mm-hmm.
he had such an attitude, but there was just something really really enjoyable about that, and
Yeah.
then seeing him get his beautiful comeuppance at the
Just
end
blown to bits. Yeah.
was great. Yeah.
So, I will say that the style kind of grew on me as it went on. In the beginning, like as the movie was starting, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna hate this," and then it was like the whole sandwich thing. I was like, I don't. I did that. Didn't do it for me. I didn't find that very funny. It was like, okay, this is where we're
Yeah,
going.
there was
And
nobody in the
when
theater
that
was laughing
yeah,
about
when
that
that
for me
happened, I was like,
either.
oh, this is where we're going. I'm not gonna really enjoy this movie. But it turned it around a bit, and it got better. Especially like when it got so outrageous, I was like, okay, I just have to like enjoy this kind of like Fast and the Furious style, like just outrageous action and stuff. And like because when she just had all these people chasing after her, who had like problems with her, wanted to kill her, and like we were like, how did this woman know? She was running past this door, and this woman like threw an air conditioner at her. I'm
Yeah,
like, how
I
did
was
she
wondering
know?
that too. I was like,
she,
how in the world did you see her?
and
She's just
she
like
was
she's just showed up like 10 seconds ago.
like, she had to in like not in response. She had to be prepared with like things she's gonna
Yeah.
throw before she gets there.
Yeah.
Like F you. And then freaking the guy in the wheelchair shoots the guy that's in the truck trying to kill her, and it's just chaos. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, this is where we're going. I'll get on board with this. But yeah, I didn't like the hyena though. I'm like, what's with this hyena? Why is there a hyena here?
The hyena named Bruce,
Yeah.
where she fed the creepy perving owner of the pet store to the hyena.
Yeah.
Um,
It was. I mean, it was interesting how they kind of just like dismissed the whole Joker thing, and like Joker is just such a non-factor that he's not even like he's
yeah.
only talked about in relation to Harley Quinn. That seems
Mhm.
weird to me in this world. You'd think the Joker would be more out there, like kind of. It would be unavoidable to like not show what Joker is doing, but
I did like her not telling people that. Uh, I mean, it's a plot point that makes sense,
yeah,
particularly in terms of the way that this side of the DC universe is portraying Joker, where he's sort of like a mobster, gangster kind of type. He's sort of a sleaze. Again, I didn't really see Suicide Squad, so I don't really know exactly how he's portrayed. All I know is based on like the images and like trailers and stuff, where
mm-hmm.
he's just kind of like but I hate his design. But he's kind of like he feels like a gangster, like not like the Christopher Nolan type of gangster, but um like the street smart, I guess, kind of gangster, where he's clearly been there. He's not just like a leader, but he's just like rests on his laurels somewhat, and he's I control this part of the
His name
city.
just carries so much weight where
It
it's
it
like
carries clout, yeah,
yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. Like it's just his presence, or
yeah,
knowing that he's
and,
connected to Harley Quinn.
and
He can do
so
what she
yeah, and so
wants.
I like the fact that like she can get away with basically anything because
Yeah,
she's the Joker's girlfriend. She can do whatever she wants because if you criticize her or stop her, that's bringing the Joker's fury down on you. So, yeah, I like that. I like how she doesn't tell people that they broke up, and like how miserable she is. There were parts of that whole thing that it's just there's just something like infectiously likable about her portrayal of Harley Quinn. It's weird because you wouldn't think if you writing on paper, you wouldn't necessarily say, "Wow, this is a really likable character." She's just like she can't get over her boyfriend who's a horrible, abusive monster.
yeah.
And she's still like riding on his coattails and blah blah blah. And when she finally does, she's still torn up about it, obviously, but she's, it's but there's just they did I think they did a solid job. I think Margot Robbie brings a lot to the role, and makes it likable somehow. I don't know how to exactly to explain it. It was I found myself caring like a lot more than I was expecting to, in the sense that like I was just expecting to go in and just enjoy an action film, and which I did, but I liked the characters, which I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily expecting. So
And it's very like there's a very prevalent like girl power theme to this movie too,
yeah,
which I didn't mind too much. I thought it would like it's kind of in your face, and like obviously it's like yeah, throw a hair tie, and it's like yeah, girls can do anything. They don't need men, that kind of thing. But I mean, I didn't mind it. I thought it still worked.
the thing where that falls apart for me is just in the there are no redeemable male characters in this film at all,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. I get what they're going for. It's just it's too over the top. Like Wonder Woman to me was like I was like, dang, this film is great. I think I think any girl that sees this film would be. I remember I was sitting in the theater I was sitting in. There were two like college age girls, and when the movie was over, they were just like they were in tears. They were like they were just so moved by this film, by Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
And I was like, I totally get that. Like, I see where they're coming from. Like, this was a really impactful film. I can see young women getting a lot out of it. With this, it's like a all men will hurt you, but that's okay. But because you can get yours too.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't think that's really what the movie's saying, but like, I just think that the messaging is very mixed, where it's like, in order to be empowered as a woman, you have to be as violent as men are, and it's like,
Well, not
I mean,
necessarily. I mean, it's like
yeah,
it's the you don't need men message combined with just like being a superhero thing, because it's obviously, these aren't just normal people. Even Black Canary, who seemed like it was just like a woman who could fight, she just has a
and she just has this
superpower.
magic superpower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most of them don't have superpowers
Well,
though.
that's true.
Most
Yeah,
of
but they
most
are
of them
just kind
don't.
of like that ragtag, like vigilante justice people, except like the one woman who was the cop, who was just like, okay, now I'm just gonna hang with these women who are just completely outside the law.
Her T-shirt was awesome.
What was it? I shaved my balls for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got a laugh out of me when I saw that. I was not expecting that.
She's probably my least favorite of
But
the
yeah, me too.
coalition. But
I didn't really care for that whole arc. Her whole story just didn't do anything for me either.
yeah, and I mean, I would
But
like to see. It was kind of just like tossed in the whole Huntress story is just kind of there. It's like these millionaires, the whole family got just
it yeah,
murdered.
it felt like background, sort of like background dressing, and then it was like, oh, okay, the little girl is the like a lead character now. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
and just like they don't really all come together until the very end, and you don't really see her
yeah,
much. You just see the random killings there. But I would like to see that develop more if they're gonna do more movies for sure. I would develop that character more because she's. It's really fun to
yeah.
have the deadpan character to play off of like the over the top Harley Quinn
What'd
style.
you think of what's her name, the little kid? She actually becomes a Batman or
What?
Batgirl later. Yeah, she's a Robin, I think, something like that. I feel like she becomes she becomes like a Batman protege
What do
eventually
you mean in the comic book
in
lore?
the comics. Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
yeah.
I didn't really care for the whole like she just became a Harley Quinn's assistant at the end. I didn't really like the
I didn't
character.
really buy that. I didn't really buy that, to be
Yeah,
really exactly. It was like, okay, so now you're just gonna go along with her. She seemed to mesh so much better with the other women that it did seem very strange. But
mm,
I think it was like they were doing a thing with Harley Quinn's character where it's like maybe she can't rely on these horribly violent low life men that the underbelly of Gotham City is all populated by. But at least there's this little girl. This little girl who can follow her and they can go pal around and have a good time.
yeah.
Something I guess, or something. But
But I will say, just the biggest thing takeaway is the action was just done really
oh, it
well.
was
It was a
stupendous.
bam, bam,
The
and the cinematography with it was really done well.
cinematography, the fight choreography was awesome.
Yeah.
Every fight scene had an interesting element to it. Like, even just the simple thing with where Black Canary beat up the uh, beat up the thugs that were like taking Harley Quinn away to probably do something horrible and despicable. Um, and then she just pounds their faces in, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so good. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was such a simple fight scene, but like the way everything sort of worked together, just all the fight scenes were great like that.
Black Canary though she's I don't know.
She's great.
I don't know what
I
I was
thought she
gonna
was
say.
great in this film. I
She's
didn't.
Bay. She's Bay
Yeah,
this
she was
movie.
great. She was great. I liked her a lot. But yeah,
She has nice gold like leather pants.
yeah,
I
yeah. She did.
admire the costume designers. Is what I'm saying. So, anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of with you that the music got kind of over. it was fine. It did get kind of overbearing at certain points, where it was just like, oh,
And then
okay,
it's like,
here's
oh,
another.
Barracuda's playing. I
Yeah, it's
hear
like,
that
here we
coming.
go. Here's Barracuda.
Dun,
It's
dun,
like,
dun,
yeah,
dun,
I like
dun,
the song. We don't gotta throw it in every movie that.
dun.
Yeah, um, yeah. Um,
Like, I feel like that kind of action doesn't need, like, for some scenes it works really well with the music, but like that last part, even with the Barracuda, I feel like that would have worked without it.
yeah, you just
Just
have like a percussion or some sort of like jam
yeah,
session riff. Like
yeah.
you don't need a pop song in there. So, but
So, what score would you give this movie?
this is really tough for me because like I don't think it was phenomenal. I don't think it's as good as some of the movies that it emulates, but I still really enjoyed myself. It's a well-made film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised that it's not doing better at the box office, but then when I realized kind of why, that when I thought about it and was like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't even know really what Birds of Prey was until I kind of
Yeah,
looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, right, that's the Harley Quinn movie. Um, I think that's kind of their marketing problem, which is why they've since changed the in theater listings are now having the movie named Harley Quinn.
yeah,
Birds of Prey, I think, or something like that. I think it's called
yeah.
Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. Um, so I mean, the movie title itself hasn't changed, but just the listings have. So, I, it definitely doesn't deserve to be like a disappointment at the box office. I think the film's fun enough to stand on its own merits.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like a 7.5 for me.
Okay.
I found myself really enjoying it. It's nothing overly special, but I mean, I'd watch it again easily.
Yeah.
It's fun. I had a good time with it. I laughed a few times. The comedy's not like great, but it's not like awful. It's not like roll your eyes terrible or anything like that. Just doesn't always hit as hard as I think they were hoping it to.
Yeah, because it's
It's
like
not perfect.
you could just definitely tell the difference in quality from like this comedy to like an
Yeah.
MCU comedy.
I was thinking even like Deadpool, which is
Yeah.
super violent, over the top. Um, Deadpool works for other reasons, but we won't go into that right now. Um, but yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it. 7.5. It's a good movie. I definitely recommend if you are, if you're a fan of DC. Why haven't you gone seen it
Hmm.
yet? This is a solid DC film. It's definitely a good outing. I mean, it goes to show that like not all DC films are bad, and I think the reason that a lot of the ones are, and the reason they have the reputation they do, are studio meddling and Zack Snyder. Those two
Hmm.
things right there are kind of what's been the curse of DC so far.
Okay.
But I think if they can just get away from that, if they can just get away from the Zack Snyder vision, I think that they've shown that they have the ability to make solid films. So
Yeah. I would also give it a 7.5. That's where I was at.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely in that zone where it's definitely a movie you could kind of turn off your brain and just
yeah,
enjoy more mindlessly, not have to like go away thinking like super in depth about something. And like the characters aren't too complex. It's just like brief backstory for each of them, but at the same time, it works infinitely better than Suicide Squad, which consisted of a lot of characters with no depth. But it was like just way too many in Suicide Squad, and none of them were like likable or they didn't have personality like some of the characters in this one. So the action is just so fun.
the action was very fun. Yeah,
Without the action like that, I don't think this movie is very good at all. In fact, like
yeah, yeah.
on
You're kind of right.
on
Yeah,
writing alone, it wouldn't carry this movie. But oh yeah, and
yeah.
like
The
you
script
said, Ewan
isn't really
McGregor
that
is
good.
amazing. So
Ewan McGregor is phenomenal. I really liked Victor Zsasz. Batman Arkham. I think when he was in one of the Arkham games. I don't remember which. Fans of those games will like him in this. He is
hmm
evil, and it's great. So yeah.
all
All
right,
right,
so
Tarqaron
Tarkon
score.
score 7.5.
Very cool.
Right, see you
All right.
next time for whatever. What's the next superhero movie on the horizon? Black Widow.
Black Widow will be back in May.
The Marvel. When's the next DC movie planned?
That's a good question. I don't actually know.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's
Duh.
that's a lie. Wonder Woman. That's the summer. That
So,
looks phenomenal.
those are good. There's like some good
looks-
ones. All girl power too. Black Widow, Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it's the summer. It's winter. It's February. What am I saying?
Hot girl
I was gonna
summer.
say it's the summer of women, but it's like it's February. So it's the superhero women year, I guess, is 2020.
Hot superhero girl summer is here.
Yeah.
Right? Came early. Right.
Alrighty.
See ya. Then one of those times.